At the end of the month, you're due to decide whether there should be a public inquiry into the security force collusion involved in the murder of Belfast solicitor Pat Finucane. Now, through court and through representatives, you've offered apologies. You've admitted some of the delays can't be justified. Can you just tell the family what's happening?
Well, look, let's be very clear on this. There is, at the moment, we are effectively still in court proceedings. The court proceedings were adjourned until a review hearing in December. They're not concluded. So we've committed by responding to the court and the family by the 30th of November. And as such, it would be inappropriate for me to give any comment beyond that to be made outside of the court proceedings. Interestingly,
though, although David Cameron, when he was Prime Minister, admitted that there were shocking levels of collusion, I think that was a quote, as regards Pat Finucane's murder, rather than examine and learn the lessons of history, and you still seem to be pushing against this idea of a public inquiry, you actually seem to be legislating to repeat it. Because at the moment you've got the Covert Human Intelligence Sources Bill, which makes it lawful for agents and informants to commit crime. It legislates for exactly the kind of collusion that led to Pat Finucane's death.
Well, look, the bill that's going through Parliament at the moment is one that outlines something that's been a matter of fact for a long period of time. It's the work that a range of agencies, from the police through to even the Immigration Enforcement Department, do to ensure the safety of people across the United Kingdom. But as I say, in terms of the particular case,
it legislates to allow agents and informants to commit crime. Exactly what appears to have happened in Pat Finucane's murder.
Well, I'm not going to comment on presuming what you may think happened in the Pat Finucane case.
Well, David Cameron said it was a shocking level of collusion. That's what he said as Prime Minister. He was Conservative Party leader.
And I'm afraid, Chris, as I said, because this is subject to current court proceedings, I'm not going to comment on that until I'm ready to respond to the court and the family by 30th of November, which is what we've pledged to do. I fully support everything David said, but in the current situation, I've got to respond properly and to take a considered position to make a decision for the family and the courts by the 30th of November. That's what we'll do.
Aren't you making a habit, though, of failing victims? Victims groups say your current proposals on legacy cases are dangerously deluded. You've promised them intensive engagement. They say they've been waiting since March. They're still waiting. Your current proposals, they seem to want to just draw a line and forget what happened. And that really upsets victims. Why haven't you engaged with these victims groups since March? Where do things stand?
Well, a couple of things I'd say, Chris. First of all, I'm a very firm believer you need to accept, understand and respect where you've come from in order to understand where you're going. So it's very much not that the case as you outline. I'm very determined that we've got to respect, understand and have that information in order to have reconciliation and to be able to look forward. And anything we do on legacy will have victims absolutely at the heart of what we do. That's what we said back in March. If you look at the actual wording of the written ministerial statement I put out, was that victims would be at the heart of this, and that continues to be the case. I have to say it was the victims groups themselves who, I think quite rightly back in March, were saying to us when we were engaging on this, look, with COVID and being in the heart of COVID at that point in time, that's where the folks needed to be. It certainly was for the political parties as well, quite rightly. So we decided to pause that engagement while people were focused on COVID. Obviously, we've got a second wave of this. I am still determined to engage on this. So I make no apologies for taking our time on this, because I think it is right. We will take the time. When the time is right, we will engage fully and properly on this, because we're not going to be coming forward with proposals that are not proposals that work for families, for victims and for all communities. That would be the wrong thing to do. So I think something that's sensitive and as complicated as this, I'm sure you and listeners would agree that it's the right thing to do, is to take the time to do it correctly. We've got to deal with COVID. People are dealing with COVID in their everyday lives, as well as the organisations around it. I think we've got to get through that, but we will be engaging on this. We will not be coming forward with any proposals that haven't been through a proper full engagement process.
But yeah, I know you have to go, so I just want to ask you this though, but just as things stand, you still want to legislate for the closing of most old Troubles cases, because of course victims say that is a de facto amnesty.
Well, look, as I say, we do want to come forward with proposals. That's part of the NDNA agreement, but we're going to do that once we've had full and proper engagement with people across communities. And as I say, whatever we do, victims will be at the heart of what we decide to do on legacy. It's a complicated issue. It's rightly understandably a sensitive issue, and it's right that we take the time to get this right. But I would just say to people, we have not put forward formal proposal what we're going to do. So all of the discussion and talk about what people think about proposals are based on people not knowing what they are, because we're going to engage with people first and then we'll come forward with proposals after that engagement process.